Hey guys, Hussein and welcome to YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to be building our 99th project of this series, which will be a GitHub profile clone. So I'm going to just create a file, give a name of like 099 GitHub profile clone, and inside this folder I'm going to just create my index.html file, and I'm going to also create a file of app.js. And are we creating it or what? app.js file, and I guess this is outside, so I'm going to have to drag it in here. And I'm going to also create a file, give a name of like style.css right here. Anyway, so I'm going to just make it a bit bigger so you guys can see everything a bit better. And I'm going to just write my doc type HTML and GitHub profile clone. And now let me just link that to my CSS and also to my JavaScript file right here. Okay, so now I'm going to just search for, I want you to first of all come to this link, which is cdnjs.com, and then search here, search for font awesome. Okay, so I'm going to just click on there, and I wanted to make sure that I copy the link right here. Okay, so now I am going to hide this head area, save my file, right click on it and open it with a live server. So it will now open this file in my live server right here. So we are not currently getting anything. That's cool, but I'm going to have to right click on him, then to my network panel I'm going to refresh it, and yep, we are getting our font awesome. So that's cool. Anyway, so now let's just start working on our navigation area. I'm going to create an give a class of like fa brands, there we go, and another class will be for fa GitHub, and I'm going to save it. And here you can see we are now getting our puppy. Is that a puppy or GitHub? There we go. There's a GitHub, not a puppy, not a cat, anything like that. Anyway, so I'm going to create my section, give my class of like nav container. Okay, so inside this container I'm going to create my ul and then li, and inside this li I'm going to have to create my a. Okay, so I'm going to just create it right here. I'm going to have to hit enter right here, so that I want to make it separate, and it will go to nowhere. It will say like product, and now here I'm going to just pass my I, give a class of like fa solid, and also fa, I can't even pronounce this name, Sharon Don. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm going to just duplicate that 2 times. So this is going to be the first one, and this is going to be for solutions. There we go. And yep, that's going to be fine too. And now here I'm going to create a li and also the anchor tag. It will go to nowhere. I'm going to write open source. There we go. Li anchor tag one more time, go to nowhere. And this one will be for pricing. They will not work, but this is going to be just for a UI. I'm going to save my file, and here you can see we are now getting it. Anyways, so underneath this ul I'm going to have to create my form right here, and it will go to nowhere. We are not going to be sending our data, so that's why I'm going to have to remove that action, and I'm going to just write my input. It will be the type of text, and placeholder will be just for search. Okay, that's cool. Underneath this whole section right here, this whole section, what do you want to do? We just want to write our header area, or not a header area in this case. You know what, I guess I messed up something. I didn't mess up something, but inside this section area, what do you want to do? Or maybe, come on man, did I forgot that this whole navigation, I mean like this whole section will be inside this navigation area, not outside but inside this navigation area. So I'm gonna have to place it right in here. I'm gonna zoom out a bit so you guys can see everything a bit better. And so here you can see I have this navigation, and inside this navigation I have this section right here. Okay, so that's cool. Now underneath this section, what do you want to do? Let me just get in. What do you want to do? I want to create a div with a class of buttons container, because we are going to be storing our buttons inside this container, and it will be now set to a. It will just write sign in right here, and then I'm going to create a button for I don't know, sign up or something like that. I'm going to save my file, and now outside from this navigation section, what do you want to do? We just want to create our header area, and inside this header area I'm going to just write my ul and then li, and inside this li, you know what, first of all let me just write this ul li, and now inside this li I'm going to create an anchor tag with the class of active. So the first one will be active and the rest of them will not. Okay, so now inside this anchor area or a area, I'm going to create I with a class of fa solid, and I'm going to also give a class of like fa book open. Okay, so then outside from there I'm going to just write my overview. Yep, overview, that's fine. I'm going to save my file, and now I'm going to have to duplicate that a few times. So I don't know, maybe yeah, I'm gonna just duplicate that a few times, like 3 times maybe, and I'm gonna just remove this active class from the rest of them. I'm gonna hit Control D and then just remove them. Now what I want to do is that I want to go inside there, but this one will be, instead of a book, this one will be FA folder. Folder, but not open, but just a FA folder, and I'm gonna just give a name of like repositories. There we go. And now this one will be also, instead of overview, I'm gonna just write projects right here and change the class to cloud. Okay, so FA cloud, or yeah, cloud would be fine. And this one will be also, instead of overview, I'm gonna just write packages, PSC KAGES. There we go. I'm going to just remove this book one, and I'm going to just replace it with cube. Okay, and I'm going to just finally duplicate it, and instead of packages, I'm going to just write stars, and let's just change that to star. Okay, so I'm going to just save my file, and here you can see we are now getting all of the UI. But that's going to be it for a header and all of that other stuff. So now it's time to create our main container. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write a section. I'm going to give a class of like main container, and inside this main container, what I would do is that I'm going to create a section for my about user. Here we are going to be placing a user, and then inside there I'm going to just write a user / avatar. Underneath that, I'm going to create a paragraph with a class of user name, and here for now I'm going to just put my own name, and later we are going to be deleting all of this code. So here you can see we have this Hossein Web Dev right here. Then I'm going to just create a button with a class of follow. Yep, that's going to be fine, and I'm going to just write follow right here. Underneath that, I'm going to create a paragraph with the class of user bio, because here we are going to be just placing our bio. So I'm going to just, I don't know, write a designer or something, or designer developer, and content creator. There we go. And now underneath that, I'm going to also create a new div with a class of followers info. Okay, so did I spell correctly? Yeah, I did. Now inside there, I'm going to just write a, it will go to nowhere. And now inside this a, I'm going to write my I with a class of FA solid, FA-person. Okay, so now in here, what I'm going to do, or not in here, but underneath there, I'm going to just create a span with a class of followers. There we go, 21 followers, and I don't know, followers. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just duplicate that. And you know, instead of duplicating there, I'm going to just create a new one, I, and it will go to nowhere. I'm going to create a span with a class of following, in this case following 0. Maybe in future if I found someone, and then I'll follow them. Anyways, so that's cool. And now I'm going to save this file right here, go back, and this is how currently things looks like. But now we have to do a little bit of other things, which will be underneath this div. So underneath this div, I'm going to have to create a new div, which will be icon container. And inside this icon container, I'm going to just write IFA regular and also FA building. There we go. Now underneath that, I'm going to write my anchor tag with the class of company. There we go. It will go to nowhere still. And then I'm going to just write some sort of a company, I don't know, HTTPS, and some sort of a company like Udemy, which will bring you to my Udemy courses, user Hossein Web Dev. So if you just go to this link, so it will just bring you to my Udemy courses. Anyways, which are also totally for free, by the way, if you want to check them out. And also awesome as well. So underneath this div, I am going to create a div with a class of icon container. There we go. And now inside this icon container, I'm going to just write IFA sharp and also FA solid FA dash link. Okay, so this is going to be the class span with the class of blog, and it will be youtube.com, which you are watching this video on. So Hossein Web Dev, there we go. And then underneath there, underneath this div, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write, or you know, I'm going to just duplicate this container, which is icon container 2 times. Okay, so now I'm going to just change that to I don't know, you know, I'm gonna just change that to location. I'm gonna change that to some sort of a location or something. I'm gonna change that to United States location and United States. And then this is going to be for my blog, and this is going to be for my Twitter handle. So Twitter username or handle, you can just, I don't know, I'm gonna just leave it with a handle or something like that. So which is my username right here. You can provide your own if you want to, by the way. Now I'm going to save this file, and now underneath this section, yep, underneath this section I'm gonna just write my main section right here. And by the way, I'm going to be deleting all of this code right here, like all of this code and the one which we are writing right now, because we are going to be rendering all of our content by using JavaScript. Okay, so now let me just create my main section. Inside this main, I'm gonna just write a popular. Okay, underneath there I'm gonna just write it with a class of repos, and inside there what I'll do is that I'm gonna just write repo card. Okay, so inside this repo card I'm gonna just write a, it will go to nowhere, and I'm gonna also provide a class of repo dash title, and then I'm going to just write, I don't know, I'm gonna give a name of like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I don't know, 100 projects. So this is the repo where you will find all of the code of this course, which is like huge. If you want to check it out. And then I'm gonna create a paragraph, give a name of like repo, I don't know, subtitle or something like that, and I'll just write build 100 plus projects in 100 days, free, totally for free if you want to check it out. Anyway, so underneath this paragraph, what I'll do is that I'm going to just write a repository, or not repository, but popularity. Inside this popularity, I'm going to just write technology, the thing which I hate the most. Technology used, there we go. And I'm going to just give a class of like HTML, and then we have a stars. And now I am going to give a class of FA regular, and I'm going to also give a class of like FA star as well. And now I'm going to just place like, I don't know, 30. Now currently it is like 106 or something like that much stars, and I know in future it will blow up because this is my hard work, and yeah, I know that for a fact. Now let me just create a div with a class of fork, and here I'm going to do a little bit of craziness, but we will delete all of this code in future. So what I'm going to do is that here we are going to be placing our SVG in a second, but first of all I'm going to write like a span with a class of forked, and it will be now set to 20. And now underneath this div, and also now here I'm going to just write my p with a class of pill, and it will be just like I don't know, public or something like that. If you want to make it private, you can also just write a private. So congratulations, we've write a lot of HTML code till this point, but just wait for the craziness to happen. So here, you know, I'm gonna just change this background image so that you can see. All right, so now you can see. So here you can see I have this logo right here, which I'm gonna also give you in the description below so you can have access to that. I'm gonna just copy that from my desktop, and then I'm going to go into the 99th project of this course, and I'm gonna just place it right here. So what I am going to do is that I am going to open it right here, and I am going to copy all of these stuff. So I'm going to just hit Control A to select all of that, and I'm going to just hit Control C to copy it. And now instead of this SVG, I'm going to just place it right here. I know that will look awful. And here you can see we are now getting that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, that's cool, but we will take care of that first of all. So now we are totally done with the HTML side of this video. So then we are going to be going into the CSS. So now I'm going to just go into a JavaScript, and here we are going to be start working on our functionality. So I'm going to just write a form. First of all, let me just get my form by using a query selector of form. Okay, so after that, I am going to select my input, which will be set to document.query selector of input. And then I'm going to just select my repos container. There we go. Document.query selector of repos, like so. Const main container will be equals to document.query selector of main container, like so. Now let me just create my API right here. So we are going to be just requesting to this API, which will be https api.github.com. You can learn more about that if you want to /users. So now that's cool, but now here what I will do is that I'm going to just first of all start working on our user data. So I'm going to just use like async function, because we are going to be fetching our data by using this function and fetch data. And here I'm going to just pass my own username right here. Okay, so username. And now let me just put my try catch blocks right here. And here inside a try block, what I'll do is that first of all I'm going to just get my response. It will be now set to await and fetch. And now let me just get my first of all, let me just provide my API right here, and then I'm going to just use my username, which we are specifying to this function right here. So first of all, we are providing this API, which is all of this link right here. Then we are also appending this username, which we are getting from this function right here. Okay, so now after that, we are going to be checking if we don't get any response, like response .ok. So if you didn't get any responses, so we just want to throw new error, and we just want to write like response. There we go. Come on, response, response. I'm gonna have to write it manually. And status text, here we are going to be just providing this response status text, and here we are going to be destructuring a lot of stuff. So again, if you guys don't know what a destructuring means, well, you can check out my video on destructuring in JavaScript. So then we have a response response.json. so now let me just convert this data to JSON format, and here we would need a few things to grab from this response.json. So I'll just write like avatar /user, like URL, and I'm gonna also need to get my bio and blog, company, company, there we go. And then we have a followers, following, and location, login. And finally, we will also need to get our Twitter handle, our Twitter username rather. Okay, so now I'm going to just save my file, and now here you can see we have all of the data which we need. Okay, so we're gonna test this code right now because we have to call this function somewhere. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to also create my HTML for myself. So now I'm going to need to provide my template literal right here, because here we are going to be writing a lot of HTML right here. You know, I'm gonna first of all go into my HTML right here, somewhere in here. So here underneath all of that, I'm going to just create a separator for myself, because we are not going to be placing all of that code right here. I am just writing this code for emits. So what I will do is that I'm going to just create a div with a class of user avatar, and I am going to just provide, or you know what, that's user avatar, and I'm going to provide a styling to it like background, and it will be now set to URL. And here we are going to be placing some sort of a URL in a second, but now first of all, let me just write no repeat center / cover. Okay, like so. And now underneath that, I am going to just write my paragraph with the class of username, and here we are going to be providing our username right in here. Just in a second. Then we have our button and follow button, and I'm going to also just write follow right here. And then we have a paragraph with the class of user bio, and here I'm going to just place my bio in a second, but you will see that. And then we have a div with the class of followers info, and what I'm going to do is that here I'm going to just pass my anchor tag, which will go to nowhere, and then I'm going to just write I with the class of fa solid, and then we have fa person. Okay, so underneath that, I'm going to just write a span with the class of followers, and here we will put our followers in here, but in a second. Then I'm going to just write following right in here. Okay, so I'm going to save my file. Underneath this anchor tag, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just write my icon container right here, and now inside this icon container, I'm going to write I with the class of fa regular and also fa building. Okay, so this is going to be the fa building. Now I'm going to just write company right here. It will go to nowhere, and now here I'm going to just render my own company right in here. So I'm going to just duplicate that a few times like so. Instead of a building, I'm going to change that to location / dot, and this one shouldn't have to be regular. Here we have to specify fa solid right here, and then here we are going to be also rendering our company. So we are not going to be providing any company, we are going to be providing a location right in here, and this one should be sharp. And now I'm going to just change that to regular. So now here I'm going to just provide my what do we call fa solid, and this one will be fa link like so. And here we are going to be providing our blog in a second, but not right now. So I'm going to just write my blog right in here, and finally we would also need to duplicate it one more time, like a final time, and I'm going to just write fa brands, and I'm going to remove this fa solid from here. And finally we are going to be writing our Twitter right in here, and then I'm going to just change that to Twitter username like so. So now we write all of this HTML code, so I'm going to just save my file, I'm going to copy all of this entire area code right here. I'm going to cut it from here and I'm going to just place it right in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back so you guys can see everything a bit better. So the first thing I would do is that I'm going to remove this separator from here, save my file. And now here inside this HTML area, what I'm going to do is that the first thing is that I'm going to have to provide my avatar right here. So avatar URL right here, and then we are going to be providing our login. In this case, in the username, we are going to be providing our login, and then here we are going to be providing our bio. In this area, we are going to be writing our followers. In this area, we are going to be writing our company. So I guess I forgot to include a what do we call it? So this is going to be for followers. You know, underneath there, I'm going to just create this anchor tag right here like href. It will go to nowhere, and then I'm going to close it like so. And now here what I am going to do is that I am going to hit enter right here, and I am going to just write a span with a class of following in this case. And now I am going to just close them, and here I am going to just render my following list, not followers but following list in here, and I'm going to close them. I'm going to close my span tag right here, and then I'm going to just write as a label like following, and this one should be followers. There we go. Alright, so that's that. Now it will also go to nowhere, and now here what I am going to do is that I am going to also provide my company right here. So this one will be for location, and this final one, not final one, we also have one left. So this one is going to be for blog, and then we have our Twitter username, but here I'm going to also provide this @ symbol as well. Okay, so now we create our HTML. So now I'm going to have to render this content to my HTML. So I'm going to just first of all create a section with a class, not a class but document.create element, and here I'm going to just create my section, and then section.class list will be now equals to, I'm going to just provide this class which will be about user or something like that. And then we have our section.inner HTML, it will be now equals to this HTML. So we are now rendering this content, like this entire content, to this section of inner HTML. Okay, so the one which we are creating right now. So underneath that, I'm going to also get my main container, and I am going to use insert adjacent element and after begin, and here as a comma I'm going to just render my section right here finally. And then if we get some sort of error, so we just want to log that error to the console, but we are going to be using console.error. There we go. So I'm going to go to the bottom right here, and I'm going to just write form.add event listener, and once our form is submit, let me just write submit like so. I am going to remove that. I'm going to use my async e, and here I'm going to just specify my arrow function e.prevent default, and now I'm going to just get my value. So I'm going to write input.value from the user, like whatever the user is typing in that input area, and I'm going to just check if the user provides some sort of a value. So I'm going to just get my val if the user provide a val. So now let's just use our try catch in here, await fetch data right here. So that's the name of our function, which is fetch data, and we are going to be passing the user provided value. Okay, so if we get some sort of error, so we just want to log that error to the console, and then we have a finally finally, and here we are going to be just writing input.value, and we are going to be setting that to totally. And now let me just check there. I'm going to just provide a value of Alex, and something is not right. Yep, something is not right. We have to change that to value, and now I'm going to just search for Alex. I'm going to hit enter, and still, so now here you can see it will now give us their data about this Alex person, but it will also give us this old HTML code right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just remove all of this entire HTML code, not entire, but I'm going to go into this area, and I'm going to just delete this about user stuff from here. So we have all of their data right here, so I'm going to just say bye to them. Now let me just remove that like so. So here you can see we are now currently getting these repositories. We are going to be also deleting that in a second. So let me just search for like Alex one more time. I'm going to hit enter. So now here you can see we are now getting his image, description, his followers, following, his location is set to null, and also his Twitter handle and all of that kind of stuff. Anyways, so now we are totally getting in there. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove all of these repositories from here so that we can work with that. by using our JavaScript. So I'm going to just remove that till this div. So I'm going to just comment it out for this case. So I'm going to save my file, and here you can see currently we don't have anything, so I'm going to just search for Mr. Potato like so, and here you can see it will now give us the Mr. Potato image, but we are not getting any kind of repositories. That's because we remove all of these repositories right here. So now let me just create another function, and then it will fetch our repositories. This one will be also set to async function, async. So this is going to be the function where we are going to be fetching some sort of a repositories, and it will also take a parameter of username. Let's just provide our try catch block. Const response will be now equals to await and fetch from that same URL, but I'm going to provide my API like so at uppercase API, and I'm going to just provide my username right here. And then we're interested in subscriptions, so I'm going to just write subscriptions. And now underneath there, I'm going to also check like if we didn't get any responses whatsoever. So I'm going to just copy this response. I'm going to use it .ok. Then we want to throw a new error about this response, which we are copied, and status.text right here. And I'm going to also write a const data, and currently our data will be now equals to await response.json. Okay, so we will convert our data into that same stuff like JSON format. Okay, so now we are getting all of their data. So now let me just save this file, and I'm going to open my terminal right here, not terminal but my console right here, and I'm going to just search for like Alex in this case, and we are not getting their data. That's because we are not using this function somewhere. So I'm going to have to copy that. I'm going to use my await and fetch repos and val. Okay, so now let me just save that. I'm going to write Alex one more time, hit enter, and here you can see we are now getting all of his repositories. Like this guy created all of these repositories. We can get stars, we can get all of that stuff from this data right here. You can take the time to check all of these repository response by yourself, but I just kind of wanted to show you like how you would get all of their responses. Anyway, so I'm going to comment this line out for you guys, and I'm going to now iterate over through all of the data which we are getting from this API. Okay, so I'm going to just write first of all, let me just destructure a lot of things. So I'm going to destructure the name, the description, description, and I'm going to also get my forks count, and also language. Let me get my watchers count like so, WATCHERS. Yep, the spelling is correct. So I'm going to use my get URL like so, or is that a URL or URI? I'm not sure about that, but let's just go outside from there. And I'm going to use, now inside there, I'm going to write my const modified MODIFIED URL, and it will be now set to get URLs like so. And here we are going to be doing a little bit of magic. So I'm going to write a replace method right here, like replace, and we are going to be writing our regular expressions right here like there, and I'm going to tell you like why we are doing it right now. And here we just want to change that to HTTP like so, and then here we are going to be writing our replace one more time, and we are going to be writing our regular expression dot get, and we just want to write our / and we want to make that empty. Okay, so why are we doing that? Let me just show you what in the world is this get URI. First of all, let me just uncomment that, and I'm going to just search for Alex right here. I'm going to hit enter, and now I'm going to open my console right in here, and let me just open that, and let me just search for that get URI right here. So now here you can see it will now give us get / and then github.com Alex, and then the repository name right here. So if you open like another one, and if we search for that same, and here you can see it will now gives us that another repository name right here. So what we are doing is that we are removing this get from here, and we are replacing it with this HTTP right here, and then finally we have this .get right here. We are removing that, and we are just setting that to an empty string. So this is what we are going to be doing by using this modified URI right here. Okay, so that it will make us, so once we click on it, it will brings us to that specific repository. Like so, like let's suppose if I just click on, I don't know, maybe this Tailwind CSS. So if I click on it, it will now brings us to this Tailwind CSS repository right here. Okay, so you can learn more about that by yourself. So that's what we are doing by using this modified URL. Okay, so now let me just first of all create my div. So I'm going to use my single element, and it will be now equals to document dot create element. Create element, and we are just providing a div right here. So first of all, we are creating element, then we are providing a class to it. So we are providing a class of repo/card, and then we have our HTML right here. So we have a little bit of HTML which we are going to be writing in a second. So I'm gonna go into my CSS area, HTML area one more time. I'm gonna provide a separator for myself, and now let me just write all of that HTML. So what I will do is that I'm going to first of all write an anchor tag, and it will go to somewhere right here, but we will take care of that in a second. Okay, so now let me just provide a class of repo/title. Okay, and then here I'm going to also provide that you will see that what we are going to be providing in. Then we have a paragraph with the class of repo subtitle, and then here we are going to be putting our description. Okay, so now here I'm going to just create a div with the class of popularity, and now inside this popularity div I'm going to create a new paragraph with the class of technology used, and here we are going to be rendering that dynamically in a second. Then we have a stars, and inside the stars I'm going to create an I with the class of fa regular fa star, like so. And then here we are going to be also rendering our content dynamically. So I'm going to just cut that from here, and I'm going to place it right in here. Okay, so we are going to be providing our watchers count in there, and then finally we are going to be rendering our, which we will get from this image right here, not image but svg. We are going to be rendering our svg in there. So I'm going to write fork svg, like so. I'm going to also give a class of like fork-svg right in here. Underneath that I'm going to also write my span with a class of forked, and here we are going to be placing our forks, or we will pass that in a second. Now underneath this span and also in this div, what we are going to be doing is that we are going to be also writing a p with a class of pill, and this is going to be for our pill, like a public pill or something like that. I'm going to save this file, but before I do, I'm going to cut all of this coding from here, and let's just remove that. It's kind of like a JSX if you are aware of what do we call it, React.js. So now what I'm going to do is that here in this first one, I'm going to copy this modified URL and I'm going to place it right here. And now inside this title, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to just provide my name. In this subtitle, we are going to be providing our description, and inside this technology used, we are going to be providing our language. Okay, and then here we are going to be also providing our watchers count, like so. And finally inside this span area, we are going to be providing our forks count. Okay, so now underneath all of that, now we successfully created our HTML content right here. So now it's time to render it to the DOM. So I'm going to use single element dot inner HTML, and it will be now set to that specific HTML. Okay, so then we have our repos container, and then we are going to be appending that single element which we've created just in a second. So finally, if we have some sort of an error, so we just want to log that error right here. So we are going to be using console.error.error. So I'm going to save that, and now I'm going to just search for like Alex right here, and here we should have to get our repositories, but why we are not getting it? We are creating everything. Are we getting this repos container from here? Repos. Yo, that's because we commented this line out. So we shouldn't have to comment that line out. So let me just uncomment this repos. So what I'll do is that I'm going to cut this comment from here, and I'm going to place it right here. Let me just save that, and I'm going to just search for Alex one more time, and here we are getting all of that content right here. So this is what I was talking about. So the final thing which we have to do is that we have to let's just remove them. The final thing which you have to do is that anytime once again we click on this input area, so we just want to refresh this content, and then we would be able to search for another person. So now here this is going to be quite simple and easy. I'm going to use my document.query selector of input right here, like input, and then we are going to be using add event listener right here. And when somebody clicks on it, so what do you want to do? We just want to use our location dot reload right here. So we just want to call that. So now here if I just click on it, and if I write Alex, and now if I click like somewhere else, and now if I click on it one more time, and here you can see that data is gone, and now I can search for Hussein web dev right here. And now if I hit enter, so here you can see we are now getting all of the repositories right here, and we are getting the same description, the same name, the same followers, the following, the location, the company the person is currently working on, the handle, the Twitter handle, and everything is working the way we expect him to work. And now I'm going to click on this repository, and it will now give us anything specific to this repository, and it will now brings us to the repository. All right, so that was a huge project to work with, and there was a lot of, there was a huge CSS specific. You can provide more styling to it like if you want to, but in my case that's going to be it. Okay, so we are totally done with this project. If you want to refactor it, all of the code will be available on my GitHub repository. I'm gonna give you the link to the description below if you want to get it by yourself, and if you want to tweak things around, so feel free to do that. So my name is Hussein, and I'll see you in the last project of this series, which will be about, I guess, a Wikipedia search or something in that area. Anyways, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.